here with your yoga PSA. If you have the capacity to love, you have the capacity to hate. Again, if you have the capacity to love, you have the capacity to hate. It is not a conditioned behavior. It is innate. When you come out of the womb, you're cold, you're hungry, you're upset about life, you're angry. And that is a initial behavior that we feel. We feel the things we don't like so that we can understand the things we do. Nurturing, nourishment, etc. It's innate. So when I hear the healing world talk about being positive and not hating, we're all one love and etc. Stop spiritual bypassing life for your own benefits, spreading misconceptions and misunderstandings. Anger is an innate behavior. It is meant to help us discern. We cannot have one without the other. Now, when it comes into hate and utilizing it in our experience, meant to create an action, change. We have anger and hate because something isn't right for us. We use that energy, we change, flip the script, find what does. Now, why we see so much discussion around it being something you can learn to not do, because the reason we haven't been able to understand or conceptualize the anger and the hate that we feel, because the anger and the hate that's being shown is irrational. It's towards people's identities, skin color. It's a hatred for another person's existence. And that's why it's so confusing, because that's not something you can change, nor are you supposed to. This isn't what we're supposed to hate. The reason that the confusion exists is we have anger and we have hatred and we have this front side story that's saying why we're all angry, but it's not that story. The anger and the hate we feel is an innate sensation of knowing something isn't in alignment with what we need, that something isn't right. And it's easy for one person or several people to control a narrative about what it is, but at the end of the day, it's because something in our lives personally isn't in alignment with ourselves. And it isn't the hate. Hate and ending your idea of hating something isn't going to change it. It's understanding the why behind the hate. What is it? Where are you actually feeling it? Hate is a sensory awareness. Again, you come back to this idea of being a child. We hate something because of how it feels. But as we age and we get older, we're taught to disconnect from our body sensations and associations with it. A lot of us that enter into the world of movement and this holistic world know that this existence is here, is that we are meant to connect with ourselves, that union, yoga, a connection with ourselves. Where it goes awry is when the ego gets involved, special interest. Most people hate something over a special interest, over a branding, an ideology, image. Most people choose their hate over what the majority chooses to hate or not hate. And at the end of the day, you've lost yourself in that one connection of why is the underlying current of hate there. So if we have love and we have hate, we can't have one without the other. And so this non-conditioned behavior, very innate, very natural, ingrained human experience that we have, is a sensory awareness, is an alarm that says, hey, something isn't right. We need to change something. It's coming back here from the limbic brain. That's the area in the epicenter of the brain that deals with sensory, that deals with that as an innate behavior. The point is to take that let's go, and shift it up into the neocortex, larger prefrontal cortex, neocortex, the big part of the brain where logic resides, it's supposed to make understanding happen from this sensation back here. And we've been doing that since birth. But the older we've gotten, the more disconnected we've gotten with our own emotion. We're meant to hive mentality, hive mind. We're supposed to check in to see what everyone else is feeling, and if they're feeling happy, we're supposed to be happy. If they're feeling anger, we're supposed to be angered. And if we're feeling sad, they're supposed to be sad. Everyone's supposed to be feeling the same situation, right? Wrong. The sensory of anger, of love and hate, starts within. So we take a look at what it is that you're sending anger and hatred towards, and ask yourself why. And I don't just mean like surface level, oh, I hate them because they's yellow. Fuck off. No, I mean why. At the end of the day, what is it about another person or another thing or another issue that brings hatred in? And then you look at that, flip the script, and you ask yourself, well, what's the same thing that brings love in? And you realize it's the same thing. That discernment matters most in our love and hate skill set. Any healer that tells you that you're not supposed to hate is bypassing and living in a false reality and is definitely not in touch with themselves. Hate is what breeds change. Looking back through history, hate breeds change. Now, change is good, change is bad, change is change. Change just is. And how we decide to create it comes back to the why. So anger is meant to be felt, and then self-study to be understood, so that the logic comes up here, and you're not just taking hive mentality as to why you hate something or why you love something. You're actually understanding deeply within yourself why. At the end of the day, it comes back to connection first and foremost with the self. If you're angry, valid. It is a valid feeling. Why are you angry? And the why around the anger is something that can always be changed, because the anger is a signal that change needs to happen. So if you're feeling angry right now, take a look at your own imposed ideologies and morals and ask yourself, are you actually in alignment with what you truly believe and who you truly are? And can you recognize that we're not meant to bypass hating, that we're meant to use hating as a skill, as a tool to help ignite change in a world that needs it. All right, guys, thanks for coming to my talk today. If you like hearing what I have to say, join me for class sometime, because I talk a lot of shit about a lot of stuff, all valid. Bye.